Hello and welcome to my first tutorial. I'm your host Dragon, and in this video I will explain how to create a very basic signature. This signature tutorial will follow closely to this tutorial here. This tutorial was going to have a video apparently, but it was never made, so I guess I'm just gonna have to make it myself. The program you need is Photoshop. It's the best program for graphics. There are many tutorials on YouTube if you want to get Photoshop. The version of Photoshop that I have is Photoshop CC. Once you have Photoshop, the first thing you want to do is go to File, press New, and this is where you set up your dimensions for your signature. The forum signature requires that you need a 500 pixel width and 100 for your height. Make sure your dimensions are in pixels, and then you press OK or enter. Now you will have a white background that is completely blank. The main three things that you want to add in your signature is your render, your background, and your text. What a render is basically just your character. The one I'll be using today is a Barbarian King. So to get a render, simply go to Google Images, and you can save a render that you like. So let's choose this render right here. This render is good because it has a transparent background, a background that is clear. You can tell that it is transparent because it has a checkerboard background behind the render. Compared to this render here, it has just a white background, and that is not transparent. The white will show up in your signature, so you want to choose a render like this with a clear background. Save it in a place that you can find easily, so you can bring it over to Photoshop. So I'll show you here. Once you have your render saved, you can go to open and find your render. As you can see here, I have many different folders for many different things for graphics, and here is my renders folder and renders of Clash of Clans. I have my Barbarian King saved right here, and if you were to open it, it makes a new tab. This is your signature tab, and this is your render tab. To bring your render over to signature, just drag it over to the other tab. As you can see here, the render is too large for the signature, so in order to resize it, you just press Ctrl T, and now you can resize it however you like. To resize a render or anything without losing its quality, you just drag the corners and hold down Shift. Now the next thing you would want is your background. Just like your render, you can go on to Google, save a background that you like. For example, let's say I would like a city for my background. I already have that saved, so we can go to open right here. I have a backgrounds folder. This is the city that I want. Now I can't drag it over to the other tab because this layer is locked. To unlock it, use double click and press OK. Now you can drag the picture over to your signature. As you can see here, my background is covering my render. You click to bring this layer down below the render will be on top of the background. Now to resize your background, you do the same thing, Ctrl T, and you can drag the corners. Remember to hold down Shift. Just like that is good. Now the final thing you want to add is your text, of course. So what you want to do is go to your text tool and choose a font that you like. I will make a future tutorial on how to download more fonts, but this is the font I will use that I downloaded. So you can just type whatever you want in here. I'll just do Dragon. I'll resize this and right here is good. As you can see, this signature tutorial is very basic. There's not many effects, so it's not really complicated, but I'll show you a few more things you can do. For example, to make your text look a little more fancy, make sure your text layer is selected. You can go to FX here and choose a effect that you like. I'll go to stroke. What this effect does is that it'll create an outline around the edges of your text. Set this to outside and it should look much better. You can adjust the size here if you want. I'll set it to 5. Another effect that you can add is gradient overlay. It will just add a gradient over your text like so. You can adjust the settings here. And like that looks good. One final effect that I want to add is a glowing effect, which will look nice. And you can adjust the settings, but that already looks good. Now let's see what else we can do based on the tutorial here. We have a background, our text, a render, and some effects added. The last thing you can do is add a very thin border. So to do that, I'll show you here. You can click new layer, go to images and apply image. What that does is it'll create a layer with your image copied. Now if you go to stroke here, you can set this to inside and it'll be inside your image, just like that. You can go adjust the size however you want. I like it at 2, that's just fine, and press OK. So this signature is now completed. It's very simple. To save it, you will go to save right here, to save as, and you can save your PSD file wherever you like. You name it to keep track of which signature it is. So for example, my graphics folder, I have a folder of PSDs. What these files are, basically files of Photoshop signatures that you save. And if I were to open up a PSD here, it'll show you all the layers of that file that I used to complete the signature. So that's how I made my signature. And if you save your PSD, you can pretty much preserve your work. After you save your PSD, you can go to File, Export, and Save for Web to save the actual image. This image here is 103 kilobytes. The form will only accept signatures that are under 100. So to lower the amount of kilobytes, you can uncheck the interlace box here. Now it's under 100, so it can actually show up on the forms. Press save. If you want to know how to actually upload your signature image into your signature space, then you can ask me privately on the forums, or I will actually make a new tutorial on how to do that specifically. But for now, this is all there is to this tutorial. Very basic and simple. It is meant for new beginners to learn. I hope you enjoyed the video and stay tuned for more.